You know, when you're waiting for something, at first it's quite exciting. You're filled with wonder and excitement for what it could potentially be. But then, as the days turn into weeks, and the weeks turn into months, and the months turn into years, that feeling of wonder and excitement slowly drains away, and all that you're left with is the feeling of dread. Well, Metroid Dread is a pretty good game. Hi guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we'll be reviewing Metroid Dread. Now, this is going to be a spoiler-free video. I'm not going to go into too much details. In fact, the footage is only going to be the first hour of me playing. I will touch on topics later in the game, but I'll leave them as vague as possible so, you know, you can still go out and enjoy it, because you should really go out and enjoy it. It's a very good game. Once again, the Switch library is just dominating. It's so good. It's so good. All right, let's start off with the one thing that isn't the strongest point of the game, the story. Now, Metroid and stories, it's there. They've always kind of been there, especially with the later games, especially during the third one, Super Metroid, and then later on they started actually involving cutscenes. A lot of the side stories do have a lot more story to them. Most notably, Other M had a lot of story. Luckily, Samus has not retained any of those character traits from Other M, so that's good. The game picks up after Metroid Fusion, which got released so long ago. I mean, in fact, it's on the Game Boy Advance. You can see it all the way up there. This game does include a lot of cutscenes. I say a lot, usually at the beginning, at some points during the game, and at the end, obviously, as well as some cutscenes to show new bosses, to give hints to the player about what they're dealing with, etc, etc. There are some elements of the story I'm kind of like, alright, why? But overall, I mean, it's serviceable, it does its job. It's not like it's the worst thing ever to happen. It's not Other M. Alright, it's nowhere near Other M. Okay, so if you think it's gonna be, oh god, they're gonna Other M. No, it's not. It's serviceable. It's just there's just some points where you're just like, okay, I guess. Try to be as vague as possible. I might do a spoiler review later on, or discussion video topic on this, but right now, the story's okay. But let's talk about the excellent parts, and that is the graphics and music. I mean, Metroid music is always fantastic, and the graphics, it's been a while since Metroid has been on a home console. Now granted, the Switch is kind of a handheld and a home console, but it's so gorgeous. Now obviously there are some articles out there published by Kotaku about it running great on the PC, 4K 60 frames a second. Yeah, but you should still go buy it out for the Switch. My god, is it gorgeous. It looks great on my TV when I play it. It looks great on the handheld mode. The scenery, like, considering it's only like a 2D platformer, my god, do they go all out. Some of the locations are gorgeous. The water effects, the lava effects. Oh! I will say that there is a classic enemy returns. I say classic, it's only been in one other game, but it returns, and I can kind of see where they're going with the design. It does, I mean, it looks alright. It's okay. I don't, you know, it feels way too cartoony, the redesign. It's, of course, we're talking about the X-Parasite. It's shown in the opening cutscene. It's like, okay. Apart from that, like, some of the cutscenes at the beginning for the like artwork graphics look fantastic. I mean, like the fusion suit. My god, I want to see a full remake of Metroid Fusion using that art style. Whoo! But yeah, music is fantastic. Locations, the graphics are gorgeous. Now, let's get on to the gameplay. Now, I did a previous video while I was doing all the reactions, and I discussed my feelings or dread for particular gameplay in this game, which is to do with the Emmy robots. Yes, there are a bunch of robots running around trying to hunt you down. Now, in the game, they're only set to certain locations, and the plot point is they only hunt in a certain area. So, basically, every time you have to go through this area, you have a chance you are going to run into an Emmy, which, it's a bit annoying. You get used to them after a while, they will have patterns, but it's frustrating when you're just trying to get to point A to point B, and the Emmy's blocking it, and you're like, alright, fine, I can either run back and try and reset your pattern, or I'm going to have to try and figure a way to avoid you. Now, the game does give you abilities like the Phantom Cloak, which turns you invisible, so you can get past them or hide from them a lot easier, but I barely ever use this. To be fair, I would mainly just jump over it, and occasionally if you hit it, that's it. You get into its death animation. Now, there is a chance to kind of stun it, but 9 times out of 10, I don't really stun it. I just get frustrated because I'm like, I'm just trying to get to point B, please. I can understand why it's in there. It's an evolution of the SAX, where the SAX, you've had like 3 encounters of it, and it was kind of scripted that it would only chase you to a certain point, where this is like, hey, these rooms are purely for Emmy, and it will hear where you are and hunt you down, so it has proper AI, whereas the SAX, I think it was just like, if it sees you, that's it, it goes on the full attack mode, and stuff like that. It's great, it's serviceable. It can be frustrating, but after a while, once you start dealing with loads of them, you're pretty much just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna jump over you, especially when Samus gets more and more tools later on in the game where you can do a lot more stuff. Then it just becomes like, okay, well, I need to get to point A, point B, excuse me, so I'm gonna use these tools to get there. It's fine. I definitely like the fact that after you defeat the Emmy, all of a sudden all the life from the surrounding areas actually enter the area, and I think that's great. It does mean the rooms aren't as safe after you've returned from them, but basically you're not dealing with the Emmy, and it kind of shows that the Emmy are just killing everything on sight, so no life can enter except for robots. That was cool. I definitely like that. Apart from everything else, it's just standard Metroid affair. I say that it is an evolution of Samus Returns. It does borrow very heavily from Samus Returns. Obviously, it's the same studio who made Samus Returns. It's just a remake of Metroid 2. So you do have the counter system again. You also now have a slide. So for a while, you can only really rely on the slide. And the sliding is great. It's actually quite a good tool to dodge bosses. There's a lot of tools you get where you can dodge bosses and stuff a lot more easy, and it looks pretty cool. So definitely recommend that. The counter system is fine. I didn't, when I first was introduced to it for Samus Returns, I was kind of like, this is going to slow it down, but in reality, the enemy telegraphs it's going to attack you, you counter it, bam, it's done, and then once you get stronger weapons later on in the game, you don't even need to worry about the counter system. Pretty much you're just like, okay, whatever, you're dead. So yeah, it doesn't really slow it down. It's pretty cool. I really like the sliding as well. It feels great. So overall, like gameplay wise, it is great. It definitely feels like an evolution of the Metroid games. Combine that with the gorgeous locations and graphics and music and the story doing its job and motivating you to go to the next place. No, this is really good. Like Mercury Stream have knocked it out of the park. I kind of tapered my expectations. This game has been rumored for many years, and to finally have it and play it, you know what, it was worth the wait. It was worth the wait. Okay, maybe not that much, but it's still a very good game. It's probably one of the best games that came out this year, hands down. Once again, the Switch library is just dominating. Like, you got a really good Mario game, you got a really good Zelda game, and now you got a really good Metroid game. I mean, if we ever get Metroid Prime 4, it's got to do a lot to compete with this. My god, this game is just... it's right here, and I constantly look at it like, this is a good game, this is a great Metroid game. Fantastic evolution for the series. I can't wait to see if Mercury Stream does even more. I would talk about the amiibo features, but unfortunately, because I'm in the Europe United Kingdom, all our amiibo figures got delayed, so I'm not getting that till November, but you can easily beat this game without the amiibo support. I mean, you get an extra E-tank and some missiles. great. Don't worry, there's plenty of E-tanks and missiles out there. Anyway, I've been Salty Jarvis. Thank you for watching my Metroid review. If you haven't ascertained my thoughts on this game, it's good. If you've got a Switch, give it a try. It does help to know some of the older games, but you know, it kind of explains stuff in stories. So you owe it to yourself to try it out. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you disliked, leave a dislike. Comment below whether you liked Metroid Dread or you're picking up or not. And you can join the Salty membership if you want. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.
Morse. Marvelous. Together on the track. Let's go. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, sus. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, sus.